Alright, so the first step here in this example is we want to get rid of the powers to a powers first. So this numerator not going to change for now. And the denominator, the negative 3, is not going to change, but what's inside the parentheses will, because I'm going to bring that exponent of 2 into the n's and into the c's. And to do that, that is a power to a power, so the rule says I'm going to multiply the exponents. So I'm going to take negative 3 times 2 to get negative 6. And then for the power of c, I'm going to take 2 times 2 to get 4. Alright, and then from here, we can start simplifying our fractions. Alright, so we're going to go over here. Then you want to tell yourself, let's simplify these in steps. So let's focus on the variables, or let's focus on the numbers, and then we'll focus on the n's. And then lastly, we'll focus on the c. So we'll kind of take this one step at a time. Alright. So obviously this is a fraction, so our answer is going to be a fraction. So there's my fraction bar. And then I'm going to simplify 5 over negative 3. Well, that actually doesn't simplify, so we're just going to leave it go. Alright, then we're going to simplify our n's. So how we simplify our n's, don't let the negative exponents get to you in examples like this. It's still the quotient rule, so we are still going to take negative 7 minus negative 6. So always take the power in the top and subtract the power in the bottom. So when I take negative 7 and I subtract a negative 6, I'm really subtracting a negative. That's the same thing as adding. So I'm really taking negative 7 plus 6. And that's going to get me an n to the negative 1. Okay? And an n to the negative 1 would tell me, so when you simplify, when you do that subtraction for the quotient rule and you get a negative exponent, that means that it should go in the denominator and it should stay positive. So this would be an n to the 1, so I won't write the 1. Or again, you can ask yourself the question, where are there more n's at? And although they do have negative exponents, the number negative 6 is actually greater than the number negative 7. So the answer would be the bottom is where there are more n's. And then how many extra are in the bottom? Well, that's basically answering the question of what's the difference between negative 7 and negative 6. And they are 1 apart. So there's 1 extra n in the bottom, so my final answer should have 1 extra n. And then lastly, c over 4 divided by c over 4. They cancel each other out, right? If I did the quotient rule, I get 4 minus 4 is 0. So if I simplified this, I'm going to get c to the 0. Alright? And that, my friends, is equal to 1. So anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. And I don't have to write times 1 or anything up here. I can write times 1, but it doesn't do anything. So the final answer here is going to be 5 over negative 3n. So again, when you see the same power, when you see the 4 and the 4 on c, they just cancel each other out. You can just cross those things right out. They go away. All right? And then let me come up with one more example here. How about 4x squared y to the negative 2 all to the, how about 2? And then over top of 4x to the negative 7 times y squared to the 4. I don't know. Alright, so on this one we're going to have the numerator and the denominator to do the power to the power rule first. That's the first thing we're going to do. So we do a power to a power, so 2 or 4 to the second power, that is equal to 16. I'll just simplify that a while. X squared to the squared, again we're multiplying, so 2 times 2 is 4. And then y to the negative 2 times 2, that's y to the negative 4. Alright, on the bottom we have a 4 still. We have the x to the negative 7, and then we have a power to a power rule. Again, you multiply, so this will be a y to the 8th. Okay? And then once you get here, go down. We're going to have a fraction. You can do these in parts, so we're going, oh, I wanted to be in the highlighter, sorry. We are going to simplify the numbers, then we'll simplify the x's, and then we'll simplify the y's. Alright, first thing is, what is 16 divided by 4? 16 divided by 4, that simplifies to just a 4 on the top, and really a 1 on the bottom, but we're not going to write the 1 on the bottom because we don't need that. Second thing, simplify the x's. So I'm going to ask myself, where are there more x's at, in the top or the bottom of the fraction? Well, in this case, there are more in the top because 4 is more than negative 7. So that tells me that my answer should have x's in the top. And to figure out how many x's should be on the top, I need to figure out the difference between 4 and negative 7. How far apart are those? How much more is 4 than negative 7? And the answer to that question is 11. If you look at a number line, 4 and negative 7 are 11 apart, so there's really 11 extra x's on the top in this case. And then we're going to go to the y's. Where are there more y's? You should be answering the bottom, because the bottom has a positive number, the top has a negative number for the exponent, so that means that the bottom's going to have more. And then to figure out how many more, you just need to figure out what the difference between 8 and 14 are, or 8 and negative 4, sorry. So they are 12 apart, so that would mean that I should have a y to the 12 on the bottom. All right, and that is how we're going to do it.